2025 is looking up for home sellers is what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all those fun things that really help grow the channel, help you get to know Wichita, real estate, our local market, community, all those fun things. But what we're going to be getting into today is three things I want to cover for 2025 home sellers. And the first one is that a record percent of people are planning to buy this year. 15% of people are looking to buy, which is up from the highest of 11% last year. Okay, great. What's that mean? Why do I care about that? Which is usually what you have to run past the filter of all marketing or messaging is who cares? So what? Basically, what that means is supply and demand, simple supply and demand. Not a lot of supply of houses, more demand for houses, buyers. Of what that means is that you're going to have a lot more activity, meaning you're going to have more people looking at houses online, more people showing, more consideration going on. What that doesn't necessarily mean is you can way price your house higher than what the market's willing to bear. So just because there's a desire and a demand doesn't mean you can try to outpace what somebody's willing to pay for a house or able to pay for a house on the appraiser side. So if this is something you're looking at doing, this year of selling your house, it is looking up because there's more activity. There's more people that desire and want a house. It doesn't necessarily mean people will pay more for a house, which is one of the biggest common mistakes I'm seeing of houses that aren't selling on the market right now at this point is they're priced too high, is a lot of it, or they're not positioned appropriately for buyers to see the value of why you justify that price. Any seller, any agent can just go throw a price out there, put it on the market, and hope it sells. And I wish we had a stat for this where I could show you how many listings do not sell, do not do anything. They just go off the market and the homeowner just keeps it. And so just because there's increased demand and desire for houses doesn't always equate to higher prices of that. It just equates to higher activity and higher likelihood that your house will sell if you do decide to do that. And my common strategy is always to be more of a reasonable, no nonsense, no BS approach to help you strategically plan if you're looking to sell your house, how to reasonably actually pull this off. Because there is a reality that your house won't sell and it will sit there on the market. Because even if you're not in a rush and you don't have to sell it, every time you put it on the market and you go to list it and it stays on market, you are in a rush to sell it and you are in a situation where the clock is ticking, to where every day it sits, the longer it sits, the worse it gets. And every day it's on the market and people aren't willing to pay that price and come view it and transact with you is just another day proving the market doesn't want to pay what you're asking for the house, with that. And you either got to adjust condition, you got to adjust price, or you got to adjust marketing. And if the condition's good and the marketing's good, then the only thing left is price, or you just got to sit there and wait for the one right buyer to come through and write it out and hold out for that one person to come through, or you just don't want to sell it that bad. It's really all it comes down to, because they all sell. It's just a matter for how much and when. But the sign of seeing 15% of people that are wanting to buy this year, higher increased activity of online searches, and the surveys we're doing is definitely a good sign that we're seeing more people are considering this, which comes into number two that I was going to say of why 2025 is looking up for home sellers, is because these buyers are coming to terms with the reality of the market, and life can't wait any longer for them to not move forward. Let's see, there's 5 Ds of why people move and buy and sell houses. And that's, let's see if I can remember them all. Test my real estate knowledge here. So there's diamonds, people get married. There's death, people die. There's divorce is another one. It's another reason why people move and sell. Let's see, and then what's the last two? Diapers and diplomas. There we go. That's the 5 Ds typically of why people move and sell, is because of life reasons. And what a lot of these buyers are coming to terms with, the reality of the market, is that the prices aren't coming down, the interest rates aren't coming down, and those 5 Ds of life are happening still, and they can't afford to wait any longer, or they don't want to. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what a lot of people come to understand and realize is when you're buying a house, you're buying a house for a life reason, and you navigate the market, you navigate the finances, you navigate all those things to the best of your ability, but there's usually some bigger life thing that's going on that can't wait anymore. And you start to realize, like, you know what, we're just going to pay $2,000 a month, $2,100 a month for a house in Wichita, because that's what the new normal is becoming. Some people are accepting and adopting that sooner than others. Others, it's taking a little bit longer to accept that new reality of where the new pricing is at for our market, not just house prices and what the total price is up top, like 250, 260,000. Like Wichita is an average price point of 260,000 now. We used to be a $160,000 price point city 4 to 5 years ago, which is a massive shock for a lot of people. And I get it. Like the cost of everything is going up, including houses, taxes, insurance, all of that. And typically the ones who get ahead, do the best in life, are the ones who adapt and innovate and stay with the times where they're at. And the ones that get left behind are the ones that don't. But we're starting to see from a market-wide situation of these buyers is life's happening, life's moving. They're getting married. They want to buy their first house. They need a bigger house because they're having more kids. They're getting divorced. Those things happen. Somebody died, you inherited a house, or you graduated from college and you want to buy your first house. So all of those reasons are starting to build up enough to get 15% of people to want to start to search to look. It doesn't mean they're going to buy for sure, because the truth of the matter is homeowners don't have to sell, buyers don't have to buy. But when you have 15% of people that are looking to buy, you have the increased activity, you have an increased likelihood of a transaction going on, not necessarily meaning that prices are going to shoot up like crazy. They're just moderating at a more even pace as far as appreciation goes, our typical 6 to 8%, like we see in the Wichita area. But it doesn't necessarily mean prices are going to go way higher than they are, or they're going to crash either. It just means that the market is honestly very constipated, is what I would call it. It's very slow. Doesn't necessarily mean low in price though. And number three, so this is probably the last one I want to look at for why 2025 is looking up for home sellers, is that the unicorn houses, the ones that are real Instagrammy, cute, have a lot of features, have a lot of unique, valuably unique things about them. Those are still going to get fought over still. If you position them well, if you launch them well, you market them well, like our strategic marketing plan. I just sold one recently over the weekend that we ended up getting multiple offers on it, over asking price, sold it in a weekend. So about that 3 to 5 day window mark is the appropriate timeline to get people to see it, look at it, bid on it, kind of like an auction style, but we don't drag it out forever. And it's these strategic positioning and marketing plans that really get you the most out of your house. And it's because it was a unicorn house is what it was. So the ones that are Instagram worthy, marketed well, positioned well, or even if they're not, super Instagram worthy, just the ones that are positioned well from a value standpoint of how to speak to the market and speak to the end buyer to get them to see the value to move forward to buy on that. Those ones are still going to have to be fought over. As long as it's satisfied. And then the other ones, so this is the other side, the other ones will still be satisfied with position and market well for the next life phase the buyer is taking on. So this is where I think a lot of these buyers are coming to realize, like, hey, I don't really want to go get the Instagram cute house, the new build house, all these things, because I'm going to pay so much more than I want to pay for my next house. Because what a lot of them are realizing, like, your next home doesn't have to be your forever home. And we got to quit thinking all the way to the end destination of the house we want to have when we die and we pass away and we're going to live here for 15 years, because the data shows people move on average every 7 to 9 years, and it's usually having something to do with this next life phase. And it's more important than for them to have a house and a home and a living situation that's more conducive to their life phase than to wait even longer on all this. So that next life phase will help to satisfy some of these houses that aren't as cute, aren't as Instagram worthy, but are still good value, still well priced. And this increased amount of people, 15% of people looking to buy, I think will start to come to terms with buying these houses that aren't their forever home or aren't exactly perfect, but they work. And they work for their next phase of their life. And ideally, when you purchase with us and you work with us, we set you up on what we call like a 3 to 5 year flip game plan, to where you have a house that you could add an egress window in or put a little bit of strategic work in, but not break the bank and the budget. So you put a little bit of work into it, make your payments on it in 3 to 5 years. It's appreciated well to where you have options and equity. You can either stay there, you like your payment, you're good with it, or you can upgrade to the next house. But it's these strategic planning and these strategic moves of where you make your money when you buy these houses, not necessarily when you go to sell them. It's because you made a smart strategic purchase decision with us, is why you're now in a position later to be in a great spot financially for your personal real estate, to be able to make moves, not just financially, but also personally for your life and everything else that goes with that. So those are the three reasons I have for 2025 looking up for home sellers. Appreciate watching as always. If you watched this long, if I can help you out with anything personally, shoot me a message down below at my website or leave me some comments, and we'll go from there. But appreciate watching. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.